Really cool. Going on in this. I watched the
NPD?
Oh,
Oh,
they were just, I mean, you could hear great online, by the way.
oh, that's good.
I couldn't hear
I couldn't hear any of
fans or
the-
background noise,
yeah.
but is that what it was? Was it
Yeah.
AC? Oh, wow.
Well, it wasn't AC, it was,
The big cooler things.
oh, well, they had something going in there. It didn't really work. It was hot.
Oh, boy, okay.
Initially, they were gonna move it down here, and then they were worried about big crowds, so they kept it up there, realizing it was gonna. Truthfully, after the I was
It's like it was
expecting,
just Smith Hall people, right? That-
yeah, and really, Smith Hall wasn't a huge crowd. I was kind of surprised. Question. Signed on as yourself on this one, or?
As myself on everything but this guy. This is the host. So yeah, everything else says me. No, it wasn't. That one was also like not connecting to the screens. Yeah, it was really weird when I came. I was like, this isn't how it was.
The fork over here. So I was saving that tab, Katie.
Sorry, it's in here.
Oh, okay. All right. And then I was trying to decide I should probably go over there.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, going to the bathroom. Sorry, I ruined your tab.
It's okay.
You're like, I'm never coming into work again.
I delicately kept that hanging on.
Well, I got paper clips.
No, it'll be fine.
Sorry.
That's
Oh,
fine. You're good. So,
I didn't know if it was just me. I mean, just our hearing today.
no, there's multiple things.
Okay.
But yours will have, looks like 2 cases before yours, but they're pretty straightforward, so. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
July, September. You
Let's
do
See
have a
if the
computer.
battery lasts.
See how the battery works?
I think the one. No.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
And HP.
That's nice that,
It's a Windows or Microsoft.
Yeah, sir, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, it does this.
yeah.
I haven't done any touchscreen thing.
it's convenient when you're like needing to get through a page really fast and like showing somebody something.
Yeah, or zooming. I did that one day. I said, "Ooh."
The ones,
I think it's what they had that had enough processing power for me to.
Graphics, yeah.
when I was in orientation, they brought down a bunch of Dells for people to like,
That somebody was, they might be switching over to Dell with it.
I think it is, that's like what the standard will be, but I know that Greg had our friend Gregory a Surface, not one like this. but- Yeah,
Oh, this one's Surface Pro. Just regular Surface.
that's fancy.
I mean, I'm not trying to be. Also, this is temporary.
Oh, it is? They're still working.
3 months of,
3 months.
well, they can tell me that first. I don't have to do the transition.
I don't,
Cause I guess.
No, I don't think they do. I think. All these are. Yeah, it's actually gotten much easier now. Or we had to. Yeah, getting the.
Your
Pro-
bookmarks and then like.
Gonna be in person. Oh, that's right. You're right. I think he did mention that. And Sean's gonna be virtual.
just wait.
Yeah. No, no.
Simply waiting for all three.
Yeah, she, it's gonna be virtual. How's it going? It's going. Yeah, we're all set. Awesome. Sorry, what?
Me too.
Oh, actually, sorry.
Congratulations.
Yep.
Okay, I was like, is that something?
I didn't know we were gonna have every road shut down to one lane.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of construction. Two online, so, yep.
Ready?
Yes.
All right, good morning and welcome to the April 3rd, 2026 special hearing of the Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Kansas City, Missouri. My name is Mike Harden. I am the chair. Sitting beside me to my left is Commissioner James Bibbins, and to my right is Commissioner Dr. Bridget Haney. Joining me online are Commissioners Dr. Walter Guth and Sean Owens. We're ready to go ahead and proceed with the swearing in of staff. Staff, if
Yes.
you will please raise your right hand for the oath. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good. Mr. Wolf, I believe we're ready for a reading of the docket.
Just a quick check. The court reporter, can you hear us okay? Just a thumbs up if you can.
Yes, I can.
Okay, thank you. So for today, we have the minutes from the January 30th, 2026 meeting for your approval.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a minute to review those, and then I'd love a motion to admit those to the record.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Bibbins, sorry, Commissioner. Is there a second?
Second.
And seconded by Dr. Haney. Any opposition? Hearing none, they are so admitted. Mr. Wolf?
So for our regular docket, we have one historic designation to the Kansas City Register, case number CH-PRES-2026-00002, 10804 Grandview Road. The applicant has submitted a notice to proceed in their absence, and staff is ready to proceed. Case number CH-DR-2026-00015, 101 West 54th Street. The applicant is present online and staff is ready to proceed. Case number CH-DM-2026-00007, 419 West 61st Street. The applicant is present and staff is ready to proceed. Case number CH-DM-2026-00009, 9600 Northwest Old Stagecoach Road. The applicant is present online and staff is ready to proceed. And case number CH-DM-2026-00012, 2 and 4 East 75th Street. The applicant is present online and staff is ready to proceed.
Very good. All right. There are no further questions for Mr. Wolf. We'll begin with our nomination. I'd like to call the matter of case number CH-PRES-2026-00002 concerning 10804 Grandview Road, Carlene Simmons.
So, that she couldn't be here today, but she did give us notice to proceed. So, she is the property owner and is the applicant. So, the property is located kind of west of Hickman Mills off Grandview Road in South Kansas City. This is kind of the current boundary that you see of the proposed designation. The house was built in 1912 by Frank Walsh. I'll just kind of give you an overview of what's on the property. But it is being nominated under criterion B for a significant person, for significance of Mr. Walsh. So there's the main house built in 1912. So there's 11 resources on the property. The main house, there's a carriage house located here, which is also contributing. Has a couple alterations, but generally in pretty original condition. An original horse barn built in 1912. Another enclosure storage unit built in 1912 also, an outbuilding, and then a second one located behind the property. Then a little playhouse, which we weren't sure when it was dated from, but we made that non-contributing. There's 2 stone entrance pillars with the name Dunford Place, which are contributing features at the entrance to Grandview Road. And there's a water feature, which we determined was probably put in the 1960s, which would be non-contributing feature. And then a pool, which is also a non-contributing feature and a stone wall. You see the fence atop that. but there is actually an old pool back behind the wall here that's been filled in, which is a non-contributing feature. So this house was built at a time when many of the basically city leaders and basically captains of enterprise built small, basically what we call farms out in rural Kansas City, in addition to their houses in the main city. So there were a number of them around the Hickman Mills and Lee Summit area. This was one of those. Originally, it was much larger acreage, but it's since been developed. This is a picture of the estate from a promotional book called The Jackson County and Its Opportunities in 1929. But you can see the Walshers purchased the property in 1911. It shows up on the atlas. And this is the oldest aerial I could find from 1964. You can see most of the existing features that are on the property now there. But Frank P. Walsh was really a noted attorney, labor advocate, and public figures whose legal and political career reached far beyond Kansas City. He's basically a practicing attorney from 1889 to 1939. Probably one of the first cases he was famously known for. He's defended Jesse E. James, which is Jesse James Jr., on a robbery case that he won actually in the end. Defended Dr. Hyde in the murder of Thomas Swope, which Swope Park is named after. Served as the attorney for the first Board of Public Welfare in Kansas City. That was a number of welfare programs, and originally they ran actually all of our community centers before they were transferred to the Parks Department. Big union advocate. He was appointed to the U.S. Commission on Industrial Relations by Woodrow Wilson in 1913 to 15, and appointed to the World Labor Board then also. Also was an advisor to Governor Roosevelt, and organized the Board of Social Services for the Democratic National Committee. And then defended the garment workers against Nellie Don Reed. Funnily enough, basically Senator Reed was actually the attorney that was trying to prosecute Jesse James. And then on the flip side, they came back together at the very end. But when he died in 1939, there was almost a 300-car procession to St. Mary's Cemetery. So in general, he was a noted public figure and significant person in Kansas City's history in the area of politics and government and social history, and staff recommends approval of the nomination.
Very good. Questions for Mr. Wolf?
Right, this is Commissioner Bibbins. This is a private home.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions? It's a great nomination. We don't
Yeah.
often see nominations for people.
I know, no, yeah, the property owner actually was able to put together a pretty good biography and everything. So yes, she did a great job.
Very cool. And one of the few surviving,
Yeah, these kind of little farm
Estates.
estates that you have down there. So yeah, a lot of them obviously were divided up and then demolished over the years. So.
Right. Okay. If there are no further questions for Mr. Wolf, applicant's not here, so we'll notice they're going to proceed in their absence as they have said we may. Any member of the audience who'd like to testify, please come forward now or raise your hand in the raise hand function on Zoom.
No hands raised online.
Phenomenal. We'll close the floor to further public testimony. Opportunity for discussion amongst the commission or perhaps a motion, which would look like I moved that in the matter of case number blank, we recommend inclusion on and listing on the Kansas City Register of Historic Places for this property under criterion blank.
Thank you.
Sean, go for it.
Um,
Commissioner Owens? Floor.
Yeah, I'm happy to go ahead and nominate it or to approve the nomination. So in case number CH DR PRES 2025 or sorry 2026 00002 at 10804 Grandview Road. I recommend the inclusion of this property on the Kansas City Register of Historic Places for its significance under criterion
B.
it's B, yeah, criterion B in the area of politics and government and social history for its association with Frank Walsh.
Very good. Motion has been made by Commissioner Owens. Is there a second?
A second.
And seconded by Commissioner Bibbins. Is there any discussion on the motion? Because this is a nomination to the local register, we will go ahead and take a roll call vote. Dr. Haney,
Aye.
Commissioner Bibbins,
Aye.
Dr. Guth,
Aye.
Commissioner Owens.
Aye.
I will vote aye. All right. It is so recommended that the city council see it fit to list this on the Register of Historic Places. All right, Mr. Wolf, you want to do our one COA?
Yeah, so I think the applicant is present online.
We're looking for
Hodges.
Hodges Garages. Great name.
I'm promoting to panelist.
Fantastic. All right. In that case, I'd like to call the matter of case number CH-DR-2026-00015 concerning 101 West 54th Street in the Countryside Historic District. Mr. Wolf, the staff report lists exhibits A through P. Are there any new exhibits for the record?
There are no new exhibits.
Okay, very good. We'll wait for the is there any opposition to admitting exhibits A through P for the record? Hearing none, they are so admitted. We'll wait for the applicant. Looks like we got
There.
Nancy Hodges?
Yep.
Okay, Ms. Hodges, good afternoon. Takes a minute to cycle through, so whenever you can turn on your mic. You don't have to turn on your camera as long as you confirm you are who you say you are.
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Good afternoon, Ms. Hodges. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm good.
Very good. Will you please state your name and address for the record? Business address is fine.
Nancy Hodges, 10327 High Drive, Leawood, Kansas, 66206.
Very good, Ms. Hodges. Please raise your right hand and confirm it is raised for the oath.
Yes,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Very good. All right, Mr. Wolf, we have admitted the exhibits. It is your floor, sir.
So the property address is 101 West 54th Street. It's a contributing property in the Countryside Historic District. This is applicant's proposing to build a two-car garage off of the in the southwest corner of the lot. The house actually faces north. This is basically where the driveway and the garage will be installed in this back corner. So there is an existing driveway, but it's a single car basement driveway in the back of the property off Baltimore. Just to go over, so yeah, this is basically the proposed location of the garage. This is 54th and this is Baltimore Avenue. There'll basically be a concrete drive leading back to the property that will also be constructed as part of the process. So basically it'll be a one-story garage with a hipped roof to match that of the house. It will have stucco cladding to match the house. There will also be a basically Venetian concrete tile roof that will, they're trying to match it to the house color as closely as possible, but the Venetian seems to be about as close as they're going to get. And then a carriage style garage door, which will be 2 cars wide. General, the proposed garage will be located in the rear yard. It's secondary in scale and massing to the primary house and mimics the home in terms of pattern and design. The proposed garage will use compatible materials, but will be differentiated to protect the property's integrity and conforms with standards 2, 9, and 10 and the design guidelines. And that concludes the staff report.
Very good. All right. Questions for staff. Mr. Wolf, do we have? Okay, so I see we have the plans and we have examples of the door, but we don't have like a rendering.
No, not a 3D.
Okay. Are you
dimension.
comfortable with just working with Ms. Hodges?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So there,
That it follows the actual, keeps in
Yeah.
line with color and material and treatment.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions for Mr. Wolf? Okay. Hearing none. Ms. Hodges, the floor is yours if you'd like to offer any testimony about your project.
No, I think
Trying to match.
he covered everything. We're
exterior,
just,
Roof and.
right, we're just trying to match the existing house as close as possible with the
Very good. And
exterior.
you're good with working with city staff to make sure that material and color and everything like that are in keeping with the city's standards?
Yes,
Excellent. So just when as you go every step of the way on that, essentially what that means is like when you're ready with paint, you know, send the sample of the swatch over to city staff before you start painting, et cetera, right?
Okay, yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I mean, if we were matching the house now, would that we, you know?
Yeah,
If you're matching the house now, just confirm you're matching the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're good-
yes.
And you're good to go, right?
Okay,
I've been like, when you select a tile, you know, just like send a link to what the tile is, that sort of stuff. And if it's matching the house, again, note it's matching the house. It's just a keep city staff in the loop sort of thing.
yeah.
Okay.
They did submit a
Okay.
tile sample. It's just the final color I think they're working with, but
Right.
we do have a good idea of what they're doing.
Beautiful.
So
All right. As
Yep.
long as everyone's comfortable, I think we're comfortable. Very good. Any questions for Ms. Hodges? Okay. Hearing none, we'll close the floor to the applicant testimony. If there's any member of the audience who'd like to speak, please come forward at this time. Although I'm guessing that you are here for your cases, or if you're online and you want to testify about this project, please raise your hand using the raise hand function in Zoom, and we will get you admitted for your testimony.
There are no hands raised online.
Beautiful. We'll close the floor to further testimony. Allow for an opportunity for discussion amongst the commission or perhaps a motion regarding this certificate of appropriateness.
Make the motion.
Go ahead,
This is
Commissioner
Bibbins. And move to, or in case number CH-DR-2026-00015, regarding property at 101 West 54th Street, in the Countryside Historic District. I move to approve an application or, approve a certificate of appropriateness to construct a garage and driveway on the property, which is in conformance with Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation 2, 9, and 10, with the added note for the applicant to coordinate with city staff.
Very good. Motion's been made by Commissioner Bibbins. Is there a second? Dr. Haney?
Second.
Okay, we're Dr. Guth. He beat you to it. Excellent. Dr. Guth was on it. I didn't see your mic go off fast enough. All right. Motion was made by Commissioner Bibbins, seconded by Dr. Guth. We'll take a roll call vote. So it's a certificate of appropriateness. Commissioner Bibbins?
Aye.
Dr. Haney?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
Dr. Guth?
Aye.
I will vote aye. This does indeed pass. Ms. Hodges, very good luck with your project. Thank you for your help with these owners and stewarding our beautiful historic properties and countryside.
thank you.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and start calling demolition reviews. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to call the matter of case number CH-DM-2026-00007 concerning 419 West 61st Street. Are you the applicant or the owner? You're the owner? All right, so Mr. and Mrs. Hess?
Yes.
All right, will you please raise your right hand for the oath and say, or please raise your right hand, give your full name and address.
Kelly Hesse, 419 West 61st Street, Kansas City. Missouri.
And I'm sorry, could you repeat that into the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Kelly Hesse, 419 West 61st Street, Kansas City, Missouri.
And do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Very good. All right. The staff report lists exhibits A through J. Are there any new exhibits for the record,
I've added Exhibit K that you should
Exhibit
have
K.
in your packet.
which we have in our packet? Okay, very good. Is there any opposition to admitting exhibits A through K for the record? Hearing none, they are so admitted, and we may proceed with the staff report.
Sorry, I got thrown to the beginning of the presentation.
Oops.
My fault.
You're good.
Okay. The demolition review at 419 West 61st Street is to demolish the house. The property is located on roughly at the corner of Warnell Road and West 61st Street in what's known today as Greenway Fields neighborhood. Just off the screen to the east is the John Warnell House, a historic landmark, just for reference. The house was built in 1920 by the Fletcher Cowherd Company. It is a craftsman bungalow or California bungalow. It's 1.5 stories with stucco veneer, Some of the features of the home include an enclosed entry porch on the side, as well as small arched clear-story windows on the front and side gables. Unfortunately, there was a fire in the garage, the detached garage, that is not an original garage or historic garage for the home. So it is now a dangerous building and kind of not part of the consideration of demolition, this demolition review. Here's a 1940 photograph of the home. It does appear to retain integrity when compared to this photo. However, this house, as a somewhat common style, this bungalow would not be eligible individually. However, it would be eligible as part of a Warnell Manor Historic District. So Warnell Manor is a J.C. Nichols Country Club subdivision. It was platted in 1914 by C.H. Warnell Realty Company. And Warnell Manor, as a neighborhood, boasted streetcar access and picturesque parkway streets. It also boasted restrictions as J.C. Nichols neighborhoods did. Some of these restrictions were very harmful and exclusionary, but also included land use and development standards that were written prior to the city's first zoning ordinance in 1923. The neighborhood was fully built out by 1925, as you can see in this atlas map. It is bound by 61st Street on the north to 63rd on the south, and Summit on the west to Warnell on the east. It's somewhat of an eclectic district, which was common for this time period. There are a handful of architectural styles represented here, but there are we see commonality in size of homes and materials. Most houses are around 2 stories, and facades are composed of stucco or clapboard with brick or stone foundation. So here are some examples of prairie-style homes with stucco and clapboard. Some colonial revival on the left and Tudor on the right. And another kind of quality of the neighborhood are the curvilinear streets, which create unique moments that contribute to the character of the neighborhood, resulting in some kind of parklet islands and irregular lot shapes, larger corner lots as seen here with homes kind of angled toward the intersections. The district would be eligible under criterion C in the areas of architecture and community planning and development for its identifiable character, uniformity, and retention of integrity, and also as a reflection of Kansas City's phenomenal growth in the 20th century. With this eligibility, staff recommends a 45-day hold on the demolition to consider alternatives.
Very good.
And lastly, before questions, I wanted to share that the owners do plan to rebuild their home on this site and have made an effort to propose a design that is reflecting the character of the neighborhood and that of the existing house. So here are some renderings. I think the owner will probably speak more to that.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Sure.
I have a couple of questions. So this is, Ms. Hesse, to make sure that you're aware of what we do here, all we're doing is determining if it's eligible or not.
Correct.
Right. That's our only legal role in this at all, by city code and by state statute and by Department of Interior standards. So it has no bearing on what we think about your project, however we may vote today.
Okay.
I do have questions for city staff. So this is not these are famously non-listed districts, right? How's the integrity of the district overall?
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
This would be a non-contributing structure if the district were to be listed, right?
Oh, maybe that's a question for Brad.
Brad?
You mean if
If
the new
someone
one?
were to come forward and list Warnell Manor tomorrow, right?
Oh, no, it would be considered contributing.
It would be considered contributing even though it's super vernacular?
Yeah, just it's in keeping with the kind of the overall character of the.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's one of those areas
Yeah.
where we haven't really got into this too much, so that's why I have those questions.
Sure. No.
Okay. Other questions for that? Those were my big questions, right? Because do you own the home now?
Yeah,
Do you live in it now?
it's unlivable
Okay, fair enough.
since the
I
fire.
mean this in no disrespectful way, right? I don't find that it is like, in my personal opinion, it's not, I think, super in character with the rest of the homes in the neighborhood, right? Like that's, I think, what I'm taking away from it is maybe a demo here is, you know, you don't want to lose any historic assets, but it doesn't look really like, it's not of the same scope and mass and scale of the rest of the houses in the neighborhood. This is kind of why I'm thinking, you know, just unsure here. Other questions for city staff?
I have one. What makes it unlivable?
Well, that's for the applicant. We'll get to that in one
Oh,
second.
okay.
Mr. Wolf, can you talk to me a little bit about when we're looking at districts? You know, I don't think, I've been on the commission with a 2-year gap for 15 years, right? And I don't know that we've had more than one district included in that time.
No, not a lot.
Yeah. Can you tell me about what we would look at if we were to
Sure.
take a Warnell Manor nomination?
So we basically look at the individual properties, kind of assess their integrity, kind of when they were built, basically establish what we call a period of significance for when basically the time period we consider significance. So usually it's the date of one of the first houses built to when most of the construction ended, if we're talking about architecture and design and community planning. So we look at it overall, and then we look at individual properties, you know, do they retain historic integrity, as in, do they have original materials? Have they been altered? And if they're, you know, some alterations but still retain integrity, then they're considered contributing. If they've been altered a lot or built later, then they would be considered non-contributing.
That makes sense. Let me ask, can I ask a follow-up question of you, if you don't mind? So I'm trying to wrap my head around how, you know, I should even think about this, right? And I think that let's take any of the neighborhoods off of Inglewood and Vivian, right? Those ranch houses up there, those mid-century ranch houses. They're certainly not like Atomic Age style, right? They're just very vernacular ranch houses. A lot of times when they come up on Section 106, we say that they don't qualify for listing. And so it's okay to take the HUD funds and fix them up, right?
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. But my question would be, I'm trying to think of a name of one of those neighborhoods.
Was it Crestview was one of the early ones that was kind of south of Vivian off Oak.
Crestview, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Say Crestview were to come up. I know exactly where Crestview is. Say Crestview were to come up, like they wanted to nominate, right? Because we see a lot of 106s in Crestview right now.
Sure.
And we say they're not eligible. But if Crestview wanted to nominate their district, because it is now over 50 years old and it's certainly like, you know, eligible from that perspective, would all those houses then become contributing properties to the district?
I mean, we'd assess it the way we do any other district. So just in terms of integrity and were they built during, you know, that period of significance for the district. So
that makes sense. So even if they were all super vernacular ranch style, 3-bed, 2-bath, 600 square foot.
I mean, there might be a question overall is, so you're bringing up ranch house districts in particular, which we have a lot of.
Right.
How was this one, you know, eligible compared to all the other ones we have?
That makes sense.
So in the country club district, you know, it's a little more defined because obviously it was a you know, named area. So
right. And it would be eligible anyway under just criterion B, probably. Right?
Potentially, but
Because of
probably,
Nichols.
yeah. Basic community planning and development for his planning of the district. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay, that helps me a lot. Thank you. Other questions for city staff?
Yeah, I've got a
Dr.
question.
Oh, go ahead, Commissioner Owens, then Dr. Guth. Commissioner Owens, I didn't see you up there first.
That's all right. So Brad, if this home was to be demolished and rebuilt, similar to what we saw, would that harm the area's chances of being a historic district, or would it have minimal impact on it overall?
It would really have minimal impact. There's enough buildings on the block that are contributing that having one non-contributing wouldn't affect the overall district.
Okay, thanks.
Doug, and I want to, Commissioner Owens, can you remember to bring that back up in discussion? Because I want to talk about like, weighing that versus death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
So can you just remember to bring that up in this discussion, please?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Guth?
Is there any indication by Warner Manor or any individuals that they are interested in doing a historic listing, not of the house, but of the area?
No one has reached out to me.
Okay. No, I haven't heard of anything. So
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. City staff, thank you. Sorry, I know this one is, it's probably, I think the first one any of us have heard like this. So we
Yeah.
really appreciate you guys walking us through this. Any other questions for city staff? Commissioner Bibbins? Dr. Haney? Okay. Ms. Hesse, would you like to testify about your project, why you'd like to demolish?
Sure. As mentioned, the garage had an electrical fire. Smoke and heat rolled through our house and has made it uninhabitable. We've been out of the house since the night of the fire. They pulled all the meters. So luckily our neighbors next door, we were able to stay there for a couple of months. We have been in the house for 24 years and are very tied to the neighborhood. We want to stay where we are, but we felt that the plan for remediation, the level of what would have to happen, which is everything from flooring, windows, all inside materials, all mechanicals, electrical, everything has to come out. And the cost is the maximum of our insurance, which they will cover. And then there's an additional like 15% if you go over that. And it's anticipated it definitely would go over that just as they were doing the calculations. So from a practical manner, it's like, why wouldn't we just replace it with something new? And our design style is very much looks from the street, basically like what it looks like now. It would allow us to put the driveway. Our house sits about 7 feet from the sidewalk level. So we'd be able to come straight in and have a 2-car garage, which would be great. And we'd be able to build on top of it. So that would also give our space to the back neighbor more. We'd have more yard space between us, which would be nice for everybody. We're all, all the lots are very small over there. Somebody at one point did lift and re-pour the foundation. So it is a concrete foundation, but it wasn't done correctly and it wasn't waterproofed. So even though it's concrete versus stone, it still takes on a lot of water. And it just does not seem to be logical to do all the work and remediation on a foundation that is somewhat compromised due to age and et cetera. So that's our plan. We'd love to be able to move forward with it. We want to stay where we're at. We've been there for a very long time.
Right. It's a pretty house. And I think it's pretty unique to the neighborhood too. All right. Questions for Ms. Hesse? Okay. Hearing none. We'll go ahead and ask if there's any member of the audience who'd like to testify. Please either come forward now or raise your hand in the chat in the audience panel, and we'll get you promoted.
No hands raised online.
Okay. Floor is closed to further testimony. Let's start discussing. Obviously, the applicant is super dedicated to the neighborhood, been there a long time, and the plans look, in keeping with the general scope of the neighborhood. Would city staff agree with that?
I agree, yeah.
And Ms. Hesse, I'm going to open the floor up real quick just to ask you a question. Do you intend to, it looks based on your rendering that you intend to from a materiality perspective, stay in line with the neighborhood?
Absolutely.
No like vinyl siding or anything
Oh,
like
no.
that?
Probably the biggest change is right now it does have a brick skirt.
Yeah.
And we would do instead stone, and it's local stone. It's from
Yeah, but that's
Flint
not
Hills.
as common in that area.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. It's
the
all
chimney 2 houses down is local stone all the time.
exactly
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, okay. I guess the city staff, I'm trying to think of how I want to ask you guys this question. I don't want to, it's unlivable, right? We don't have any purview over design going forward if we issue the demo permit, do we?
Yeah, it's not locally listed,
Right.
so.
So
yeah.
it's just gonna be up to the good faith of everyone involved, which obviously you intend to do it the right way.
Oh, yeah. Plans are almost done. They're just being finalized in engineering. So,
Okay.
and then we know we
Yeah.
have everything complete before we can submit for application. So,
So, yeah, in terms of the details, no, I mean, our general infill guidelines we have for the city now kind of get basic compatibility with setback,
Okay,
scale, et cetera. Not into a lot of detail, but,
okay.
so at least it wouldn't be, sticking out front of the house or anything
Right,
like that.
right,
Yeah.
Um,
It'll be
yeah.
in keeping with the scale of what's.
I
right,
mean,
but-
it looks from
Yeah.
the rendering, like, if you had to infill, right, it looks from the rendering very much like, is that standard 9? Don't recreate history, but use similar material and scope and mass. Yeah, I mean, it looks exactly like what you'd want an infill to look like, in my opinion. I'm really sorry about your house fire, about your garage fire and the loss to your house, by the way. That's for you and your husband, that sucks. So I guess Commissioner Owens, do you want to share maybe your thoughts with us? You talked about, I'm concerned about, like, on paper, this seems, it's obviously an eligible district, right? But also it seems like, what's the process, Mr. Wolf, if we say it isn't eligible, right, or wouldn't be eligible? So I got a couple of concerns, because, like, one, it obviously makes sense to me from a pragmatic perspective to tear this house down and build a new one. That's just my personal opinion, and reasonably minded people can disagree. But if you're going to spend more money than the cost of a new house on renovating the old house that is already going to probably have structural problems in the next 20 years because of a bad foundation, that's, throwing good money after bad. But if we say, because we want this project to move forward, no, it's not eligible for, like, it's not the district, like, does that set a precedent that we're then saying that the district isn't eligible for listing? Does that make sense? Because our only job inside of city code, and maybe this is
Sure.
for Julie.
Well, no, I'd say you have a couple options. I mean, one, you could find the house itself, you noted that, it's a little different than the other ones. You just don't think it would be contributing. And that, which would basically say that, the rest of the district, could be listed at some time. The other option, which was really the only one we have at the moment, would be you could just continue the case.
Table it.
Table
A
it.
little parliamentary trickery and do
Yes.
what we did last time.
Yeah.
For the exact same reasons, like an outstanding exception, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I just don't want to set a precedent, right? Like that this is okay. I'll voice my straight up opinion. I have no problem being on the record about this, and I have no problem saying this in front of Mrs. Hesse, because obviously she's not one of these people, right? But, like, the people who've moved into Prairie Village and torn down every Cape Cod to build the largest thing they can on the smallest lot possible, and now most of the character of that neighborhood is gone. I don't want to see that happen in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right. That's, I think we'd all like to see this neighborhood preserved, but this is like a clear case of, like, this woman needs to be able to live in her house, right? And it's not livable how it is now. So I'm just trying to think of.
I think if I could speak, I think.
Yeah, Commissioner Owens, I'm sorry. Yes. And then Dr. Guth.
You're
And then
fine.
Dr. Haney.
I think it's simpler than you're trying to worry about something that's not a problem. I think it's a cute house and I like it, but I don't think it is incredibly in keeping with the neighborhood. Like, when you showed the examples of the other homes around, they have more design. They're not really the style at all, and they're frankly larger. And maybe you would call them more grand, while this one's just kind of a silent member of the neighborhood. It's not defining the neighborhood, in my opinion. So I think we could think of it as just, it's a nice house, but it's non-contributing. And I don't worry about future neighbors tearing down their homes without regard, because we would have to see their case as well. And then we might say, well, your neighbor's house wasn't really contributing, but yours is clearly contributing to this district. And that's why we're not going to allow for, the neighboring house just to be demolished. I think with all those things said, that there's a clear path to allowing for this to be demolished without losing any real contributing historic fabric.
I agree. I just want to, and Mr. Owens, Commissioner Owens, I completely agree with you. I think that the only thing that I was trying to bring up as a matter of discussion is that precedent outlives the bodies that create it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I want to think about here, especially as we are, essentially quasi-judicial. But I completely agree with you, and I think we can make notes on that on the record. Dr. Guth?
I'm concerned that the house is not eligible for individual listing, and we're considering a stay on demolition on the basis of something that isn't even a possibility at this point, a concrete possibility. Nobody is stepping forward to list the area under consideration. And so
Right.
we're holding it to a standard that doesn't exist in a sense.
Yeah,
I think,
go ahead, sorry.
I think if we, as far as I know, this is the first time we've ever heard this kind of orientation on for a reason to preserve a house in terms of, well, it's potentially a contributing member of a potentially historic area. If it was a historic area, then we would consider the question of this house. But it's not a historic area. The house is unlivable. The people are evidencing an interest in neighborhood, etc. I don't see any reason to preserve the house.
Fair enough. I guess the only thing I'll say, I hear you for sure. I guess the only thing I'll say in response to that is that's the point. I think that's the point of the demolition review, right? Is to make sure that we are at least being thoughtful about potentially preservable properties in our historic inventory. But I think combined with what you said and what Commissioner Owens said, right? It makes a lot of sense on how we can move on this so that this family can continue to reside in their new home, right, and reside in the neighborhood.
And it may, if I may, it may be a push to the neighborhood to go ahead and do something to register their neighborhood.
Yeah, 100%, right?
So,
100%, because you're not always going to have neighbors like Mr. and Mrs. Hesse, right? So it
Right.
might be, you're not always going to have people who love the neighborhood and want to be there. So it may be a push. Absolutely. Dr. Haney?
I was just gonna agree with Dr. Guth and Commissioner Owens as well. We're getting out, I think, outside where we are. It's not historic yet. Most of these properties are still here. I don't think there's any reason to hold up this demolition for that.
Okay. Mr. Bibbins?
Yeah, I think I agree with kind of what we're settling on. One, I just wanted to point out something that I noticed, which is between Exhibit G, that's the kind of satellite map, and then there was kind of an oblique photo in Exhibit H, the second photograph. You can kind of tell the building's a little deceptive how big it is, if I'm kind of understanding this right, because it looks like a
Oh.
pretty modest house from the front. But I think if you look at the
Northeast corner.
satellite and then, yeah, the northeast corner
Mhm.
photo, it extends pretty far back. So I just kind of wanted to bring up that we're not just looking at a like 3-room house
Right.
in the front. It's like this is a pretty big building. But I think even with that said, I just want to bring that up. But I think I agree with everybody else that it's like the kind of 2-step thing of like Dr. Guth said, the like it's not an existing historic district, it's a theoretical historic district. And then I don't think this would even be necessarily like I think it was brought up earlier that it's not, even if it was a historic district, removing this house wouldn't really damage the historic district. It's not a landmark. It almost seems like it's kind of intentionally not a landmark, like intentionally kind of modest looking was probably the original design. Like describing it as like California bungalow, it's like that might have been actually the artistic intent, because like you look at the 1940s tax photo and it looks very, very like kind of pastoral, which I think was probably the effect that they were going for. So
Right on.
but yeah, I think I agree with where we're all settling.
Yeah, I think the most prudent choice for this commission, because we do want to make sure that the precedent on demolition review is preserved, right? Is to have a motion that says that while this district would be eligible, this house would not be a contributing property, and thus we would find that the proposed demolition is not necessary. Is that what we would say? Would have no adverse effect?
Well, basically that the property isn't historic and that demolition can proceed.
Okay, yeah,
Yep.
that the district is historic, that the property would not be a contributing property to a possible historic district, so the demolition can proceed. I think that's the most prudent motion here.
Are we in a position to say it's not, or would not be contributing?
Yeah.
Or should we just say
Yeah,
it
that's
might
our,
not?
that's our purview. That's why we're here.
Okay.
Yeah, like when we do nominations for districts, right? City staff goes through and they tell us what is contributing or non-contributing, right? That's what, when we vote on whether or not a district would be admitted, we're voting on whether or not these properties are contributing or non-contributing. And we have before in the past gotten into removing certain houses from districts
Right.
and putting them in that, aren't. Commissioner Owens?
I'm just waiting to make the motion.
Okay, so yeah, Dr. Guth, that's certainly inside of our purview. That's the point of our commission, right? Is essentially that. Plus, reviewing contributing properties stuff. Commissioner Owens?
Yeah, if nobody else has anything else to say, in case number CH DM 2026-00007 at 419 West 61st Street. I move that the proposed demolition of this home would not remove an eligible historic resource from a potential historic district in the Greenway Fields neighborhood. As our commission does not believe this is a contributing structure in what is a potential historic district.
Perfect. Motion made by Commissioner Owens.
I'm sorry, this is Julian. Can I just make one suggestion?
Yes.
So on the motion under the code, it limits your all's decision making to a finding of 3 different things. One being that it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places, that it's eligible to be listed, or that it's not eligible. So I do think we need to get that language, whichever way you all are leaning, into that motion.
Commissioner Owens, can I offer a friendly amendment then? And Ms. Langenkamp, please tell me if this is correct or not.
Yeah.
Commissioner Owens noting that this would not be considered a contributing or eligible property.
Yep.
Individually.
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 Yeah.
Individually. Ms.
All right, I
Langenkamp?
think you got it.
All right, very good. Commissioner Owens, do you accept my amendment?
Yeah.
Motion made by Commissioner Owens, amended by Chair Harden, accepted by Commissioner Owens. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Doctors Haney and Guth. All right, we'll go ahead and take a roll call vote on this. Dr. Guth, what say you?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
Dr. Haney?
Aye.
Commissioner Bibbins?
Aye.
And I will vote aye. Very good luck with your project. Thank you for your stewardship of this home. It is beautiful. We're sorry that you have to build a new one, but we look forward to seeing the beautiful work that you all do.
Thank you very much.
I got to get my charger for my laptop.
Yeah,
so-
let's take a 5-minute breather.
Okay.
We'll have a 5-minute recess, then we'll reassemble and we'll hear CH dash. Sir, which are you here for a case?
Oh, he's presenting at the end, Historic Kansas City.
Okay, perfect. All right. I was gonna say, we'll hear you next if you're here for a case, but okay. So then after that, we'll hear 9600 Northwest Old Stagecoach. Let's take a 5-minute breather.
So I would swear we've met somewhere, but I cannot.
Bridget,
Okay.
Old friends, go away.
we have tabled at a few events.
That's what I was just like, okay. Hello.
How are you doing?
Good.
Well,
A little beat up, sir.
I tripped over my dogs.
Did that yesterday.
Well, I had stuff in my hands, so,
Dog on my shoulder.
oh my gosh, you caught yourself better than I did. How are you? We've met before, right?
Yes, we
Hi,
have.
nice to see you again.
Good to meet you again.
What
You
about-
were chair, intern for Brad.
my God, that's right.
A good many years
Okay.
ago now.
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. You have a sport coat now.
Congratulations on returning.
Oh, thanks.
to the commission.
Thank you.
And I'm not sure, that now I'm the director of Historic Kansas City.
Oh, phenomenal.
I'm not sure
Congratulations.
if you were entirely aware before or are now. Are an ex officio board member of,
Historic Kansas City?
yeah,
Perfect.
that's our bylaws.
Okay, let me know when and where to be. I'll be there. I'll give you my, let me give you my business email and my cell phone if you want. I'll write it down for you on a piece of paper. Yeah, yeah, whatever you guys want, me to come to, city rules, city code prohibits me from
Yeah, I know, we
active
pretty
involvement.
well put ourselves into, direct conflicts in writing those bylaws with the city.
Yeah, but I'm glad to always show up and offer, at least perspective from like the Historic Preservation Commission's ability to do things, and like what we can and can't do. And I can never take a vote. Right.
Ex officio membership can give attendance, they have 2 ex officio members up for them because they always have enough people that it feels like a quorum, but
They can't vote.
2 of them can't vote.
Right. Right. That makes sense. And I'll get with Ms. Langenkamp about that too. And I'll ask her and Brad. Here's my contact info.
Thank you.
Ex officio. Board member.
Oh yeah, just the
of
fact that
HKC.
our bylaws put the chair on our board. I'm not sure when
What
the
I
last
can,
time
what I can and can't do.
that would've been.
Yeah, no, I remember that being in the.
How long have those
bylaws.
bylaws been like that? Cause it sounds like I missed about.
Very,
7
very long time.
I missed about 7.5 years worth of meetings.
You have already
Missed hundreds of votes.
served a good decade.
I missed hundreds of votes. I'm gonna add that to my LinkedIn.
You know.
This must be a fun break on Fridays usually.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, Everybody's scrambling for money and you know how that goes. You're
You up next?
elbowing and
Cool.
being territorial.
On. Okay, are we ready? Get back to it?
Shane Malik, if you want to promote him, I think he was on. I looked.
Mr. Owens, do you have your charger?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Beautiful. All right, let's call it back to order. I would love to call the matter of case number CH-DM-2026-00009 concerning 9600 Northwest Old Stagecoach Road. While we're waiting for Mr. Malik is here. Mr. Malik, you don't have to turn on your camera if you can't, but you do have to turn on your microphone at least. Can you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes, sir. Shane Malik, 101 Moultrie Drive in Rincon, Georgia, 31326.
Very good. Where is Rincon, Georgia?
It's just outside of Savannah.
Okay, I used to live in Atlanta. So I was curious. Right on. Will you please raise your right hand and confirm it is raised for the oath?
It is raised.
Sir, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Right. The staff report lists exhibits A through L. Are there any new exhibits for the record?
There are no new exhibits.
All right. Any opposition to admitting exhibits A through L? Hearing none, they are so admitted. We will proceed with the staff report. The floor is yours, sir.
So the property address is 9600 Northwest Old Stagecoach Road. It's located just north of 152 off North Line Creek Parkway. So obviously this was built as an agricultural property. It's currently slated for new development on the entire property. But there's basically two structures left on the property, a house and a barn. The house itself, fortunately in this area, I don't have a lot of records. It was annexed, of course, well before, after these houses were built. The date for this, I'm guessing, was 1960s. It said it was older in the assessment records, but if it is, it's buried in there somewhere. So I would not agree that it's quite that old. The records I found from the city directories indicated actually this was the dentist actually lived here. So it might have been their kind of a hobby farm potentially. So, but the barn itself is a Garth Arch Truss barn. It does indicate it was built around 1930, and it could have been that around that date. These were popular in the early 20th century, in particular. Various pattern books like the Sears and Roebuck's catalog actually sold these designs, or actually sold kits to make them. And it really had to do with that truss technology being integrated and perfected. They're very popular in dairy barns. As you can see on this one, you kind of see the bank on one side that allowed, and then a second lower bank on the other side. So for distribution of hay and various things. I said I had a 1907 atlas that didn't show it. The earliest thing I could find was a 1969 aerial that kind of showed the buildings in place. This is the 85 area. Obviously, this area has seen a lot of growth in the late 20th century after it was annexed into Kansas City. Property owner actually submitted these additional pictures of the barn. It is in very poor condition. Obviously, it has a crumbling foundation. And the roof has, of course, many holes in it. Staff will note, though, that they think it is still eligible under Criterion C as a significant example of the bent rafter Gothic roof style barn. I said I really couldn't find another example we've surveyed in the city, though I know there's more out there. But this was the only one of that particular style that we know of. So, and that concludes my staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Wolf. I mean, there's tons of these, right? Like my grandpa was a cattle farmer. There's tons of these across Missouri and Kansas and the Midwest and Great Plains in general. So the barn's about the only thing that's eligible,
Yes,
right?
I didn't think the farmhouse.
If we rule that it is eligible, what happens during that 45-day stay?
It would just be held in place, I guess, at that point. So
Okay, someone wanted to nominate
made
it,
it. Yeah,
right? Which presumably, since this is going to be a residential development, they don't want to do.
no,
Right. So it's a 45-day wait.
Yeah.
Okay. And Ms. Langenkamp, can I ask a question of you?
Sure.
Does our code outline whether or not, like, you could see I mean, that looks like it could qualify as a dangerous building. You got the concrete looked like it was literally had buckles in it, 45-degree buckles, right? Is there anything in our code about that? Or is it just literally we have to determine if it's eligible or not?
You can do
I
it,
was gonna
but
say, Brad can correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think so.
yeah, if it's actually a formally declared dangerous building, it's exempt from our review.
It's
Yeah.
different from our review.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it doesn't.
But it's not been formally declared dangerous.
No,
But if a city inspector were to walk in there, would they say it's dangerous?
quite possibly, but
Yeah.
yeah, I said I haven't really used the criteria, so I'd kind of leave that up to them. So
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't walk in there. Okay. Other questions for city staff?
I got a question.
Commissioner Owens?
Brad, could we say that although we recognize its potential architectural significance, we do not find it unique enough to have that full the full significance in order to stop the demolition. That's kind of how I'm feeling about the project or the site. Like,
Yeah, I
can-
mean, you basically
Go
would
ahead.
saying it's not eligible, just because even though it's nice, you just don't believe it's quite meeting the criteria. And basically it's not eligible for listing. So that would be
Okay.
one option, yeah.
Okay.
Other questions for Mr. Wolf? Okay. Hearing none, Mr. Malik, would you like to test, Mr. Malik, just to make sure you're aware, I'm not sure if you heard during the course of the rest of this hearing, but our role here is literally only to say whether or not in demolition reviews, these are eligible for listing or not, and under what context, right? And as whether or not as part of a broader trend or area or individually and standalone. Do you have anything you'd like to add to this?
Yeah, I will just add that a couple of things. As you all picked up on independently, it's a dangerous building, and we have all of our permits to begin construction, which we certainly have begun. And we have men out there working around this thing that is really just an accident waiting to happen. And you know, to put that kind of liability on us for 45 days, I consider to be a bit unfair to us. Another thing I'll point out, I don't know the specifics of when this historic review process was implemented, but I hear that it started in January of this year. All of our plans and submittals on this entire project was all approved last year. So I don't know that we could be, you know, should have been grandfathered in and you know, absolved of having to go through this process. It's just something I'm throwing out there. We were not made aware of this. And now we have, you know, crews out there working. This barn actually does sit on a location on the site where our earthwork contractors need to actually excavate several thousand cubic yards of dirt and place it elsewhere on the site. And we're already behind schedule for the past, you know, several weeks that this has been held up. I think 45 additional days is really just would be a major problem for us.
Completely understand. I can clear up a couple of things for you. One, this demolition review process has actually been in place for 2 years now.
That was January of 2005.
January of 2005.
A little over a
So
year and a
it
half.
was
Yeah.
in place before your plans were approved.
Got it.
However, it only applies, right, to the buildings on the lot. So it's really easy for that sort of thing to get lost in the shuffle of permitting brand new developments. So I don't think it was, you know, anybody's ill intention.
Sure.
I think, and I presume you're going to want to do more work in Kansas City. And
Yes.
we'd love to have you doing that, right? We want to see Kansas City grow and preserve what we have and make it also what we want, right? So in any future projects, if you look and you see anything that's older than 50 years old, you probably want to, when you're permitting, literally straight up ask them about, you know, demolition review and historic overlays. And they should know exactly where to send you. And then this could be, you know, solved before you even start. But of course, if you don't know to do that, how do you know to do that, right?
Sure. Right.
And then all we're ruling on, we can't declare the building dangerous. That's not inside of our purview. And we can't, although I agree with you, right? Like if it were my company, I would not want my people working around it. It's just not inside of our purview. But we can declare that either it is eligible for listing and there's a 45-day hold in case you want to nominate it, which clearly you obviously do not. If it were in better condition, it'd be a great feature of the neighborhood, right? Much like the wilderness, or what's it called, off 159th and Row, where they preserve the old farm silo in the middle of the neighborhood. It'd be a great feature if it were in good shape, right? But it's not. So we can either, you know, say it is eligible or it is not eligible, or we can table it and let the 30 days that we have to hear this case expire. Although I think that the direction this commission is leaning is, while it is cool, it's not particularly historically unique enough, right, or to be eligible. Mr. Malik, thank you so much for taking the time to appear before us today. Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Okay. Hearing none. Mr. Malik, do you have anything further to add, sir?
No, thank you. Thank you for your consideration.
Absolutely. I hope the kind of some of the explanation we did was helpful because we want to see you doing more of this in Kansas City. So we appreciate you very much. All right, we'll close the floor to further testimony. Is there any member of the audience who'd like to testify?
No hands raised online.
All right, we'll close the floor to further testimony. Allow for an opportunity for discussion amongst the commission. I think Commissioner Owens' play personally is the right one, right? Just like it's cool, but it's not particularly uniquely eligible. Anybody have any thoughts?
And this Commissioner Benz, I'd agree with that. I also just looking at the photos, I'm not even sure like when we're talking about like whether a building's in like kind of its original state, I guess, or like has like its historic character still in place. It's like out of the exhibit H, like south and west facades, it's like there's kind of a big bite taken out of it. So I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I think I'd agree that it's not. I don't think I would view it as list or like eligible.
Okay. Dr. Haney, same thought. Dr. Guth?
I want to commend staff on bringing it to our attention. And I'm glad that they do, and they look at something unusual like a barn. And so that we do get to review that and set precedent on it. So I'm commending staff for doing this. However, I don't want to keep progress from happening, and I don't think it's got any future use at that location. I don't think anybody wants to move it, and I don't think it's that unique. So I would be voting for demolition.
And Dr. Haney, you were just agreeing, but do you want to add anything?
No, I was just agreeing. It's unfortunate. It's cool, but
It is, I mean, it is cool, and it's obviously, you know, this is what growth looks like, right? Is like a lot of these things don't stay, and that's why we have this this ordinance, is to make sure. I just wish it were in better condition so that we could, you know, recommend that it be included into the development. So it'd be a pretty cool feature, but it's in horrendous shape.
I wonder if any of the wood could be potentially salvaged because it's going to be old, old growth wood in there, but that's beyond our purview, but just
Right.
Just an idea.
Just an idea, yeah. Maybe it could be incorporated into anything like a fence feature or something. That'd be cool. So maybe something for Mr. Malik and the developers to think about. And obviously, we have no purview over that, but just an idea. All right, I'd love to entertain a motion if anybody wants to make it.
I can do it. You'll have to walk me through it.
Dr. Haney, the floor will be yours. Essentially, what you're going to say is in the matter of case number blank on the front right there, address concerning address blank, right? I move that I move that this commission finds that this property would not be eligible for individual listing and thus demolition may proceed.
Okay.
Dr. Haney?
All right. So in case number CHDM 2026000009, address 9600 Northwest Old Stagecoach Road, I move to say that part again.
Defined for this commission defined that.
I move for this commission to find that this property would not be eligible for listing on the historic register under criterion C. And do I have to say move to?
No.
Okay.
And that demolition is appropriate.
And that demolition is appropriate for.
Very good. All right, Dr. Haney. I would, may I add one friendly small amendment?
Sure.
I would amend just to say, like, noting that it wouldn't be individually eligible as a standalone structure. Right? Is that okay, Ms. Langenkamp?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, is that acceptable?
That works for me.
All right, motion made by Dr. Haney, amended by Chair Harden, accepted by Dr. Haney. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bibbins. Let's take a roll call vote. Commissioner Bibbins, what say you?
Aye.
Dr. Haney, what say you?
Aye.
Dr. Guth?
Aye.
And Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
And I will vote aye. So we are going to find Mr. Malik that this building would not be individually eligible for listing and thus demolition will have no adverse effect. So there will not be a demolition stay. Mr. Malik, are you still there?
Yes, thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Good luck with your project. Thank you for helping grow Kansas City, and we will hope to see you in the future.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Wolf, and then there was one.
Yep. It's Mr. Dostal from ACI on. Okay.
Okay. I'd like to call the matter of case number CH-DM-2026-00012 concerning 2 and 4 East 75th Street on the St. Elizabeth's Parish and School properties. Looking for Mr. Dostal. While we wait for him to...
He's on.
Oh, he's on? Where is he?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you are. All right. Mr. Dostal, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Will you please state your name and address for the record?
Yes, Brian Dostal with ACI Boland Architects, address 1710 Wyandotte Street.
Very good. Mr. Dostal, please raise your right hand and confirm it is raised for the oath.
It is.
Mr. Dostal, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Mr. Wolf, the staff report lists exhibits A through K. Are there any new exhibits for the record?
There are no new exhibits.
Okay. Let's proceed with the staff report.
So the property address is 2 and 4 East 75th Street. It is part of the St. Elizabeth's campus. They're off 75th and Main Street. These two particular buildings are east of the main sanctuary and school, which is the northwest corner of 75th and Main. These two buildings are in the northeast corner. They were both built in 1953 and designed by Robert Rainey and D.F. Tooley and built by Sam Dasta and Sons. The first building, basically at the corner of Main, was basically built as St. Elizabeth's Convent. It was closed in 1977 as a convent and became parish offices. And then the building on the east side of that lot was originally built as basically a kindergarten, lower grade school to supplement the existing school that was next to the main campus. Both these were designed in mid-century modern in a blonde brick. The convent features a statue of St. Elizabeth as one of its main decorative features. And then the school building is fairly functional, basically with a blonde brick and ribbon windows. Just comparatively, the sanctuary itself was designed by Shaughnessy, Bauer, and Grimaldi in 1962, and this would be considered more of a high-style modern architecture compared to these two buildings. Here's some historic photos that staff found at the Diocese Archives. So hasn't been a lot of change to the buildings. In general, staff thought these were relatively simple modern designs that would not be eligible under criterion C, and staff recommended moving forward with the demolition. And that concludes my staff report.
Any questions for Mr. Wolf?
I've got a couple.
Go ahead, Commissioner Owens.
Yeah. So what's catching my eye more than those two structures are the grotto and the stone wall around the property. Is that part of what we're looking at all? And also, do you know if those items are slated for demolition as well?
I am not sure about the grotto, but Mr. Dostal can probably talk to that.
Is that inside of our Is that and Mr. Dostal, we'll get you in just 1 second. We got a whole applicant portion. Is that even part of our?
Usually we don't review those smaller features like that. We're
Right.
mostly looking at the buildings on the site, so, and the main structures, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Owens?
No, I think that was it, really, just that.
Obviously, Mr. Wolf, in the future, would this prevent St. Elizabeth's Church and school, parish and school from being listed if they
Oh,
wanted to?
no.
Okay, even though it's a loss of half of the site?
Well, this is kind of on the east side of the street. I mean, the site west is kind of its own self-contained portion, so. And obviously it's still going to remain in church ownership, just going to build a new building on the site, so.
But it won't damage like the future possible listing of the parish and school?
Nope, not if they wanted to proceed with that.
Okay, cool. Other questions for Mr. Wolf? Okay, hearing none, Mr. Dostal, welcome before us today. Thank you for taking the time to appear. We'd like to offer you this opportunity to provide any testimony, particularly probably you can shed some light on Commissioner Owens' question about the grotto and the brick, stonework along the perimeter.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time. As far as the grotto goes, that is being scheduled to be to be demoed as well. The statues in the grotto, as well as the existing statues on the building, the religious artifacts, will be preserved and relocated onto the new layout. The grotto will be relocated and rebuilt with better quality stone and better current construction techniques. The stone wall around the perimeter, we are going to preserve as much as we can. We understand the value that brings to the neighborhood, and we respect that historical context. However, at 75th and Main Street, that seems to be a problem child for traffic, especially with the reconfigured traffic patterns, and that stone wall has been wrecked into multiple times over the past couple of years. And we are going to remove portions of that stone wall along Main Street due to deterioration and constant battling of traffic.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Dostal. Thank you very much. Any questions for Mr. Dostal? You are going to make a new grotto, though.
Yes, sir.
Will you reuse any of the original stone?
We are recommending to preserve the stone where possible. One of our donors within the parish is a stonemason, so he will remove the stone as well as bring in some new stone and try to blend the two together.
We have zero purview over what you do with that, but it would be my highest recommendation that if the grotto is being reassembled, as much of the original stone that can be used as possible.
Yes, the parish agrees with that.
Excellent. And obviously, as an architect, you understand historic preservation as well. Okay, other questions for Mr. Dostal? Okay, hearing none, is there any member of the audience who'd like to testify in regards to this project?
No hands raised online.
Okay, we'll close the floor to further testimony, allow for discussion amongst the commission. Man, it's probably just because mid-century modern is my favorite architectural movement, but this one pains me. But I do understand that these are vernacular, simple buildings. I think when I think about the great mid-century pieces in that area, I do think St. E's Parish, right? And the school. I don't really think the convent, the annex building. I think the Christ the King building, I think is a great example, right? Of high modern, right down the road on 85th and Warnell. And yeah, I guess I agree with city staff's recommendations, but I hate to see us start losing these structures, but it is, what it is. Any other discussion? Commissioner Bivens?
I think these would be eligible because I'm thinking about other mid-century school buildings, and there's a lot that are much plainer than this one. I'm just thinking of the ones that are just these one-story, big sprawling suburban schools from the 50s or the 60s, and these look a little bit more like actual modern architecture to me than those do. And them both being 2 stories, they're substantial buildings. There's kind of an interesting thing here with they each have kind of a bump out that looks about the same size where the statue is in the convent, and then that cross is on the Marwan. So they seem coordinated together. So I don't know. I'm leaning towards them being
I hear you.
eligible.
I hear you. They're pretty, and I love the style, but I think about O'Hara that we lost, which was far more embellished and grander than these, right? I think about I think about gosh, what's the school I'm thinking of? The mid-century high school. I think about
There's St. Gabriel's up north, which
St.
is pretty
Gabriel's or
pretty high style.
or Winnetonka, which all have far more architectural features to them and standout styles. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got my hand raised.
Commissioner Owens, sorry.
It's okay. Yes, these 2 buildings they're just not very distinctive, honestly, in my opinion. They remind me of a lot of the industrial buildings we have in the Crossroads, or maybe the Fairfax district. Actually, they're not even as interesting as the Fairfax district, and that's in KCK anyway. But I just don't find them to be that great of an example of mid-century. There's not any pattern going on anywhere. There's no play with shadow and light, at least not much. And I think they were probably appropriately designed for what they were. I mean, a convent is not exactly a spectacular, fancy building, and that's what they built, and that's appropriate. But I don't find it significant enough to put a stay on the demolition. Also, if the entire campus of this school and church was in the exact same style, and very cohesive, I might see an argument for it being a district because it all matches and it's all by the one architect or something,
Right.
but that's not the case. So, in my personal opinion, I love every old building. I want to save them all, but I just don't see that this has the characteristics necessary to deem it historic on its own, or the two on their own.
Agreed. Other comments? Okay, hearing none. I think we ready for a motion. Commissioner Owens, you want to take it away?
Yeah, I can make this motion. Unless James, if you had anything else, but I think you probably stated what your opinion was.
I think maybe my last point would be that, like, I think it's interesting in the United States, like, our modern architecture kind of went through this weird kind of limbo period during the 50s where there was a lot of attributes to them that look kind of streamlined, modern, or even Art Deco.
Which this has some of those.
And I think that's kind of a unique thing, like not to Kansas City, obviously, but to just the country in general, that you have these kind of odd fusion buildings in the 50s, which everybody thinks would be kind of, you know, high Mesian and stuff. No, that wasn't until like the 60s, really. So you have these kind of odd buildings. And I know there was a building recently in from about this period in Topeka, a much larger building that was a municipal, or like part of this, it was a state office building, and it kind of had to go through this period too where people were like, oh, this is an ugly building, we're gonna knock it down. And then all of a sudden people are like, wait a second, no, there's like sculptures and there's kind of an interesting massing to it and stuff. And I think this is kind of from that same era, not on that scale, but I think that's what I find interesting about it.
I mean, I agree with Commissioner Bibbins right before Commissioner Owens takes the floor. Like, you know, you see, you know, little pieces of the international school, little pieces of Streamline in here, and that's cool.
Yeah, the ribbon windows specifically is
And that is cool. But I still agree with Commissioner Owens. Commissioner Owens?
Yeah, and I do appreciate your comments too. But my opinion's not swayed in this case. So in case number CHDM 2026-0012, address 2 and 4 East 75th Street. I do not find either of these.
You move that the commission would not find.
Yes, I move that the entire commission, or well, the commission, I'll say, does not find either of these buildings embodying the characteristics necessary to be deemed historic.
Just eligible for listing.
Okay, eligible for listing. I'll just keep it at that.
Yeah. Very good, Commissioner Owens. Yeah, I don't have any amendments to add. That's fantastic. Is there a second?
No, I think Commissioner Owens said 0012 for the case, and that we may need to modify that. It's 00012.
Oh, okay. Noting that it is case 00012. Very good. All right. Motion made by Commissioner Owens. Is there a second? Dr.
Second.
Guth? All right. Seconded by Dr. Guth. I think we probably have discussed, and we know how the votes are going to fall. Commissioner Owens, what say you?
Aye.
Dr. Guth?
Aye.
Dr. Haney?
Aye.
Commissioner Bibbins?
Nay.
And I'm going to reluctantly vote aye, but I was almost swayed by Commissioner Bivens. 4-1, this does indeed pass. Commissioner Dostal, or Mr. Dostal, thank you for being here today. You are good to proceed with demolition. Obviously, check in with city staff and the HP office, the Historic Pres office, but we have deemed that this is not eligible for listing.
Great. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Please try to preserve as much of it as you can.
We are. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Wolf, admin approvals. We had 3.
Yeah.
We had 3 demolition reviews that we didn't review.
Yeah, and then basically have a presentation by Historic Kansas City about some grant applications. And otherwise, I don't think there was any especially new dangerous buildings.
What's the one in yellow, new cases highlighted in yellow? It says it's ongoing.
Oh, yeah. That was 3935 Main Street. It's in the Southside Historic District. What's the name of the bar there?
Southwell Building?
Harlings is what people.
Harling's upstairs. That was it.
Been there.
Yeah.
So, yes.
It's called the Southwell
Real
Building.
pretty, like
Yeah.
Art Deco.
Thank you,
building.
James. People keep telling me to call it Harling, so now I'm forgetting the Southwell name.
Southwell, yes.
Southwell? Yeah.
Yeah.
Southwell, yeah.
Yeah, Harling's, I mean, if nothing else, that deck was dangerous. So fair enough. That back patio and stairs were dangerous, if nothing else. All right, Mr. Wolf, we have Historic KC in front of us today.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank
Welcome.
you for having me back. I need swearing in, don't I? Or
Yeah, we'll swear you in just in case. Name and address
Okay.
for the record.
Ethan Starr. I come to you from 200 Westport Road, PO Box 5995. And I represent Historic Kansas City here as the new-ish executive director. And
Tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
yes, I do.
Very good, sir. We're glad to have you here.
Great to be back in front of you all with good news, or at least anticipatory good news. Here to share some updates on some key initiatives our organization is working to advance this year. We've submitted 2 grant applications to the Missouri SHPO and the National Trust, respectively, or rather a pre-application in the case of the SHPO grant, and we'll have a follow-up submission here in the beginning of May. I'm here to ask the commission for letters of support for these undertakings, and I'll get right to describing them. Thank you, Brad. A little background, I guess, on surveying. Well, we're seeking a grant from the Historic Preservation Fund, from the Missouri State Historic Preservation Office, which of course is federal money that they're administering and passing down. This would involve undertaking a coordinated multi-phase effort to identify, evaluate, secure recognition for historic resources within the Valentine neighborhood and adjacent Midtown neighborhoods. I'll note that the very idea of a multi-phase application in terms of the Missouri SHPO is new. So previously it's been annual application phases and you couldn't link things together all in one. So that's good timing for us. In some ways, we've been at this task for over a decade now as an organization. If we look back to the Westport District Survey, trying to get some good survey and identification coverage in the Midtown area, that was completed in 2017 after a $20-something thousand fundraising effort supporting a much-needed resurvey. Westport had been sort of surveyed in the 1980s, but this documented the trafficway on the west, a little bit beyond Main Street, the whole corridor on the east, and then 39th Street on the north, 43rd on the south, but we're also catching the South Side Historic District, Steptoe, a little bit outside of that. And if we were to go farther back, of course, the 1980s and 1990s, as many of you know, we had a much more prolific period of survey taking, at which point both Historic KC and the Landmarks Commission were completing regular grant-funded survey efforts. If we were to take Midtown, one of the better documented areas of town, this is the SHPO map you're seeing on the left here, and yellow stands for surveys, whereas green is the National Register districts and then individual listings. we only have a couple of holes, as you can see in this map, which is only partly accurate. North Hyde Park, which is shaded in here incorrectly, is a hole, and then West Plaza, Westwood Park. Actually, Rock Hill was surveyed, so that map needs some working. I also need to get SHPO to certify that Westport survey. So lots of things I'm working on them with here. Anyway, we'll note, moving on to the next, that these holes or these well-documented areas are also the areas, sorry, most well represented on the local historic register. Now, I think we have another slide. Yeah. As a reminder, quick status update on that Norman School Historic District. That proposed historic district heard by the commission early last fall, was heard by the Neighborhood Planning and Development Committee of City Council back in December. They decided to hold the case off docket for a year after receiving assurances that there would be no proposed demolitions within its boundaries during that time. Of course, we were big proponents of that historic district as an organization, and the Valentine neighborhood had served as the nominator. That proposed district, called the Norman School District, pertained just to 3 blocks north of Valentine Road and south of 35th Street, at the suggestion of Councilman Bunch in particular, who said he'd be more supportive of studying a sort of neighborhood-wide designation. We endeavored to take every effort throughout 2026 to study that possibility. Again, closing the holes of survey coverage and then leading toward designation, generally speaking. That's the genesis of this grant application. Thank you, Brad. With the Missouri State Historic Preservation Office, overseeing, again, the allocation of federal grant monies through the Historic Preservation Fund. Note that this source of funds is not really meant for nonprofits like us. The vast majority of funds every year are reserved, designated to certified local government applicants, and that's a statutory requirement that they have to follow. There are a lot of things we seek to accomplish here, but I'll underline that this is just a preview, perhaps, of what we can come up with in a survey plan as a city and plot for the future. But in this case, we're excited that we have partnership with the Neighborhood Association and their endorsement, and then the Volker Neighborhood Association as well, to move ahead with this project, and both of them are represented in it. Yeah, so the project will expand documentation of Valentine and Eastern neighborhoods to fill those holes. Like I spoke about, the map is good, yeah. In phase 1, we'll be completing the work undertaken by Brad and neighborhood volunteers in recent years. We'll be writing up a survey report with recommendations for evaluating National Register eligibility that meet the expectations of SHPO. And I expect that to be an iterative process, as it always is with them. Phase 2 involves preparing a National Registered Historic District nomination for the largest contiguous area within those survey bounds possible, which I've roughly outlined here. We don't expect, for example, that you can have a contiguous district on both sides of 39th Street within the boundaries of the Valentine Neighborhood Association as it exists. Phase 3 will expand on Historic KC's 1986 survey of the Volker neighborhood to address that area east of Holly Street. So this is like southeast of the Loretto and west of the traffic way. It's an area with homes as old as 1880. It was platted as essentially an extension of Westport, and it's never even been surveyed. And that's about my summary for that first grant we've submitted. Number 2 here. Historic Kansas City is also seeking support from the National Trust for Historic Preservation through the Johanna Favreau Fund to commission a comprehensive preservation economic impact study for Kansas City, Missouri. We are particularly inspired by this recent report, Growing Through Preservation, completed for the Preservation Alliance for Greater Philadelphia in October by the firm Place Economics. That's headed up by well-known preservation advocate Donovan Ripkema. That might be a familiar name. Now, while the effects of historic rehabilitation are visible across the city and well known to us here, reinvestment in older buildings, growth of housing, commercial activity, continued use of longstanding neighborhood assets. There's never been a standalone city-specific study measuring the cumulative impact of historic preservation activity on our local economy. Indeed, even as we've had Missouri's Department of Economic Development and the National Park Service, who administer tax credit programs, study the effects of their preservation incentives in the state at large, no one has undertaken an analysis of how those programs affect Kansas City in particular. As we described to the trust, we intend to work with Place Economics, thank you so much, that nationally recognized consultant to quantify the relationship between preservation and economic outcomes. Things like reinvestment beyond incentivized projects, not just the dollars we already can tally, right? And housing production, particularly affordable housing, job creation, and effects on property values, say within historic districts. We're undertaking that effort with stated support of local partners in the economic development sphere, including EDC, Port KC, Downtown Council, Midtown KC Now, all of whom have acknowledged the extent, right, to which historic preservation is a central component of how our city grows and invests in its built environment. The resulting report, and I guess I have some cool pictures from that Philadelphia report. Those don't pertain to us.
Go back to is that the Philadelphia top lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And there's another slide of them just to show the cool numbers that we hope to be able to communicate on behalf of Kansas City. It'll provide clear, specific data, right? That's the goal, to support ongoing conversations about development policy, incentive programs, reinvestment strategies. Our goal here is to better equip policymakers, community stakeholders, and the development community with information reflecting what many already see in practice, situate preservation activities within that more complete understanding of our economic landscape. We should hear back on this application in July. I'm meeting with National Trust Grants team to see if they're willing to accept additional letters of support. In the case we don't get it this time around, there's another chance in October, which we'll likely be taking a shot at. And both these applications, of course, require a certain degree of matching. And so we're going to have a lot of fundraising in the upcoming months and years to make all that a reality. But those are the goals. You have that in front of you. And I just want to extend a broad invitation to our annual meeting on May 12th at Bruce Watkins Center. And if you have questions, you can hear some more about these projects then as well.
Good.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. So you're looking for letters of support from us?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm glad to provide one as the chair of the commission.
Thank you.
But yeah, if you just want to do kind of a formal motion, just supporting both grant applications, we can, I can write up some language and we can move forward.
Yeah, we can do that and just have you and I sign it and submit it. Okay. I would love to entertain a motion to formally support both of these grant applications. If no one has any questions, Mr. Starr.
Can I say so moved, or do I need to say more?
Yeah,
than
you
that?
can say so moved.
That works.
Well, so moved.
So seconded.
Okay, very good. So moved by Commissioner Owens and so seconded by Dr. Guth. Any discussion on the motion? Right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Very good. 5-0. Good luck. We got your back.
Thanks so much.
Of course. Great to see you.
Great to be here.
Mr. Wolf, any new business?
That is it.
Okay. All right. Well.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Motion to adjourn made by Dr. Guth. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any opposed? Hearing none. We are adjourned. See you all in 2 weeks.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
A random question. I could just like hold you guys.